Zoom out and he had to swerve and brake
Good
to
evening.
avoid me there.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Ward 4 Neighborhood Advisory Board. Our meeting for the month of March. I'd like to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And in order to do that, we're going to start with the Pledge of Allegiance. And I've asked Becky to lead us. Everyone would like to rise.
No pressure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. All right, moving on. Call to order and attendance.
Yes, Mr. Chair. All right, Jared Salver.
Present.
Thank you. Victoria Luck. Absent at this time. John White.
Present.
Thank you. Kathleen Egan. Present. Thank you. Benjamin Johnson.
Present.
Thank you. Council Liaison, Councilmember Megan Ebert. Absent at this time. Staff Liaison, Abigail Mayorga, Present.
Career goals.
Bye, guys.
Hello.
And my counterpart Tyler Shaw.
Hi, everyone.
Is here as well.
Taylor
So,
Swifty.
Taylor Swift. All right, Mr. Chair, you have a quorum of the Ward 4 Neighborhood Advisory Board meeting.
And just to clarify, who's our panelist right now at the moment?
So we have Chris, our panelist.
Yeah, I see.
It's us.
Just, okay, I just had to make
It's us.
sure that it wasn't Victoria. Thank you.
Yeah, no, you're good. She'll be in attendance and I can promote her.
Thank you so much.
Of
All right, so item number 3, we have an opportunity to hear for public comment. And just a reminder that we're allowed 3 minutes for each commenter. Do we have any comments yet at this time that are registered?
So, Mr. Chair, our first item today is public comment. Members of the public may hear, observe, and provide public comment virtually by registering to the following link, which can be found on the reno.gov/meetings portal. And the link is as follows: https://reno.gov/RENO:3S2C D it should be noted for those in attendance that comments are to be addressed to the board as a whole. Comments heard under this item will be limited to 3 minutes per person and may pertain to matters both on and off the agenda. The board may not take action upon any matter not agendized on today's agenda. When you are called on for public comment, please state your name for the record and begin speaking. The timer will begin when you say your name and you will be afforded 3 minutes. Additionally, we have public comment forms that will need to be filled out. If you are a participant on Zoom and would like to give public comment, we ask that you raise your hand. It's going to be the raise hand feature at the bottom of your Zoom. So if you would like to give public comment, please go ahead and do so now. And then anyone in the public who would like to give public comment, now is your time. There's also a section at the end of the meeting to do so as well. Going once, twice. All right, Mr. Chair, none at this time.
Thank you. Moving on to item A4, I'm seeking approval for the agenda motion for March 21st today.
Kathleen Egan, motion to approve the agenda.
Second motion.
Thank you so much. And for the record, your name, please.
Sam Johnson.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then item A5, approval minutes from February 15th, 2024. Entertaining a motion for approval of those minutes.
Kathleen Egan, motion to approve the minutes for February 15th.
Okay, thank you. Seeking a second.
John White seconds.
Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. And for the record, I'd like to recognize Ms. Mayton. Welcome. Thank you. All right. Next on the agenda, a great opportunity, item A6, council liaison report.
They're in your packet.
Oh. So, I have an update on the, banners that we voted on or looked at for our artwork. They're in the packets. I don't know if you guys got one, but the, artwork we have for the banners are included in the packet. So we have the one with the coyote and the robin that everybody liked. And we have quail,
Oh,
sagebrush, We got the planes for, the air races, Magpie. I think there's supposed to be another one too. Wasn't there supposed to be a Lupin?
Nope.
No, she didn't do the Lupin? Okay, so, if everybody's happy with these, we're probably gonna move forward with them.
Who's the artist?
Um,
It was Miss Evelyn from Baker.
Evelyn?
Yes. she's
Evelyn
local.
Crumbaker, yeah.
She was the one who submitted a couple of different ones.
And then that's a different artist from this
Yes,
one
And that
though.
one is different. I don't remember her name off the top.
Yeah. So, there we go.
Is there anything else you'd like to explain?
We had a budget workshop meeting on Monday this week. And the city actually has an extra $10 million, which is a nice problem to have. So we're working on what we're going to use those funds for. So more to come on that. And that's it for right now. Oh, we're also gonna have a couple senior cooking classes this upcoming week. There's one with Urban Roots, or no, yeah, this is Urban Roots or Reno Food Systems. I can't remember.
It's real.
Reno Food Systems.
Reno Food Systems, that's right, on the 25th. And then there's another one on the 28th at the Reno Elks Lodge, from 11 to 2, with Chef Chapin. So, if any seniors want to go, it's free to go. And those are my updates.
Thank you.
Mhm.
All right, item A7, staff liaison report.
Yes. I want to make sure that people on Zoom can see the artwork. So there's that one, and then this one. I do have a couple items, Mr. Chair. The first being that, currently the City of Reno Arts and Culture Department has an open survey for the Public Art Master Plan update. So this plan hasn't been updated in super long. So they have this community survey to get input from the different members open until April 20th, 2024. So you can find it on the reno.gov Arts and Culture website. And you'll find it down here. So fill out our community survey. It's due on April 20th. You'll be able to put different input on what you would like to see moving forward at the City of Reno in the arts and culture space. So that is one update. The second one is the cleanup schedule for the City of Reno spring cleanup schedule is coming out soon. We do have dates and locations identified, so that will be posted publicly in the next coming weeks, and postcards will be sent like we generally send them out. So keep an eye out for that. And then finally, I do want to remind you all of the Community Champions program that I think I mentioned in January or February. If we haven't received many nominations, so we would love to see more people in the community get nominated, or if you need a refresher, let me know and we can go through that. But we are always looking to highlight those unspoken heroes in the community at the City of Reno. So if you have any thoughts or need assistance filling out the form, let me know.
I had some things I remembered too.
Yeah.
Megan Ebert, for the record, I just also wanted to say we're gonna have an Arbor Day, tree planting at Dorothy McAlinden Park this year. We're getting a donation for some funding for some trees out here. We're also getting some grants for some different types of trees for our parks. I think there's gonna be some fruit trees planted at Panther Valley and some shade trees planted at the Dorothy McAlinden. And we're also, it just escaped me. Oh, there was a question about the timing on the traffic signals over at Clear Acre because of the construction. I talked to our city engineer, Carrie Koski, about it. She said that those lights are kind of like hard set and they can't really change them like for different times of day or anything like that. They have to be manually changed daily. So we just don't have the ability to go in and change them as needed at this time. We only have one staff person available at the City of Reno to do that, and they would have to manually go over there and change them every time they needed to be changed, like throughout the day, as traffic patterns change. So unfortunately, we don't have the ability to change that right now, but the city is working on a regional plan with Sparks and County to come up with updating the traffic signal infrastructure for the entire area, to update it so that it will be a system that can be updated remotely and changes needed. So not the update probably everybody wants to hear, but just wanted to circle back on that. So
Thank you. Jared Souther, for the record, I actually travel through that intersection almost daily, and as I come back home. And, they did report that they had worked with the City of Reno and RTC and with the help of University of Nevada, Reno to make some changes to the timing to make it
Oh, they
easier.
did, okay.
But Saturday around 7 o'clock, as I was traveling back, I was backed up all the way to the corner by Burger King, and it took 3 or 4 lights to get through because the light sequence wasn't working. Normally it works where if you're at the light before you even get to the intersection or interchange, you're gonna go through the first light, the second light, and get a left turn and get on the freeway. This time it was 3 cars getting through, and then the light would change, and it was
Yeah.
backing up that far all the way. So sometimes reporting back that maybe they have to look at 7 days a week and not just Monday through Friday commute.
Yeah.
That might be
Yeah.
the situation that I
Okay.
would share. I haven't a chance to report it up yet, but I thought I would share an experience that had happened.
Thank you. Thanks.
All right, very good. So at this point, we have an opportunity to move to item B1, and pleased to have the Reno Fire Department be able to share a quarterly report with us. Cool.
Good evening, thanks for having me. For the record, John Mandel, Battalion Chief with Reno Fire Department. Where do you want me to stand? Anyone
You're
here?
great.
You're
You're back
great.
there.
Not in the middle, perfect.
Nope.
All right, so just some updates from the fire department I brought up to share with you guys, some exciting stuff going on. We always like to share, we are in the middle of a new recruit academy. We have 27 new firefighters going through an academy right now. It's a 4-month-long academy. They're about a month into it. I was down there today. I had the pleasure of watching them doing drills, and they're progressing well. They're having fun and getting ready to become firefighters here in a couple months. We also had a lot of things going on right now, actually. What we call a fire equipment operator, the person that drives and operates the fire engines. We have a 3-week-long academy that they go through to be trained to do that. And that is wrapping up tomorrow. They graduate, so we'll have 10 new fire engine qualified drivers as of tomorrow. It's a fun, pretty intense 3-week training academy they go through. They've been driving around the hills by the training center right over here. You might have seen them on your commutes up to the North Valley, but they've been flowing water up there, and all the big fire streams you've been seeing up there the last couple of weeks is those guys. We took delivery of 4 new fire engines. I mean, it might have been a month or so ago, but we're going through in-service training tonight as we speak. We have crews rotating through, learning about the new fire engines, and those will be in service real soon at 4 of our stations. Station 1, 2, 3, and 21 are all going to be getting new fire engines here pretty quick as soon as this training's wrapped up in a couple weeks. So we're pretty excited to get those new fire engines. Wildland season's coming up. We actually just had a wildland fire yesterday in Somerset. Luckily it was only about a half acre, didn't damage any structures, but it was a wind-driven fire, a lot of wind, and luckily the grass is still pretty green. But we're starting to have wildland fires already. But getting ready for that, we have our annual training coming up, starting pretty soon to train all our firefighters. Annual wildland refresher. We also have some meetings coming up with regional cooperators at my chief level to get ready to collaborate and work together this season and coordinate resources. We have those meetings are coming up shortly. So just ramping up all our brush trucks. Actually, our wildland fire engines are rotating through the shop, getting their tune-ups ready for the season, getting all the repairs done. So they'll be ready to go here real soon. Last thing I just saw was announced, which has been a couple weeks now, where our new fire marshal has been hired and found, and John Beck. He's came from within the fire department. He's been with Reno Fire for about 16 years, I believe. But he was previously one of the fire prevention captains, and he got promoted to fire marshal here recently. It was just put out in the news officially today, which he's a great guy. Was a Navy SEAL and he's an awesome dude. So glad to have him in the fire marshal role. Other than that, the last thing I was going to say was just preempting maybe some questions you guys have about the traffic concerns we all share, but the responses in the North Valleys, that's something we've been looking at since the beginning of the year, just making sure we can get enough resources into the North Valleys dealing with this traffic project going on. And we're looking into all possibilities. What we're currently looking into is automatic aid from Truckee Meadows Fire if needed. Right now, we do mutual aid as requested, but if need be, we can look at auto aid with Truckee Meadows to supplement our resources. We're also looking at possibility of adding a medic unit or a rescue to Station 9 to have additional EMS capabilities and personnel in the North Valleys. Myself as a battalion chief, I'm looking at sending different engines from different areas to come up Virginia Street or even through Sun Valley if needed. To alter who we send up here to get people up here as fast as possible. That is all I have at this point. Any questions?
Any questions from the board?
John White for the first, that single operator medical van thing, is that working out okay?
It's working out wonderfully.
Oh,
Doing really well. It's the program's growing and growing. We just hired 8, I think it was more. We call them single roles, but the paramedics. We have 2 full-time medic unit staff now and a third that's will be up full-time pretty soon as they're done with some training, but it's working out really well as far as taking the workload off the fire engines,
Which
which
is cost effective and less.
yeah, a lot more cost effective, a lot more efficient with in line with the chief's goals of getting the right people in the right place at the right time. It seems to be working out really well and it positions us to support REMSA when they're, when they're shorthanded, we can back them up and it seems to be working out really well. But, yeah,
Great, go ahead, please.
thank you.
Catherine Nathan, I wanted to follow up on that. Thank you, John, for bringing that up because, my concern is getting the single unit up here because of the construction, there's no place, for an ambulance to get through or a fire truck to get through. And that's
Yeah.
been really scary because just last year, I was one who had an accident. The whole took 3 lanes. And the fire truck was able to get through, it's spilling gas, ambulance was able to get through right now. And I had 2 grandbabies with me on the side. And we were so thankful that you were able to get there so quickly. And now if something happens, if you cannot get from the south, if you don't have any of the standalone, the paramedics, up here in the north to at least go around, because you can't get through on Virginia because again, 2 lanes, you can't get on the side. And they're already backed up going through Sun Valley, behind Golden Valley. Again, there's nothing on the side to be able to pass. So you're literally gonna be
Yeah, those concrete barriers, yeah.
sitting there, and when we're talking about, how many minutes if someone's in an accident, that would just be horrible.
Or a house fire, even worse, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we're talking about. It's proposed and we're looking into, like I said, we're about to have our 3rd medic unit open as soon as we get some training done and the fire chief's looking at putting that at station 9, which is Stead, or station 10 right here by the Bonanza. But those are some options they're looking at. So that would put that up here for that reason. I mean, we're aware of that.
What's the American, you have to be within so many minutes, 5 minutes, 9 minutes, I mean, but
Oh,
yeah, or house
yeah.
fires, everything up here,
There's a lot of guidelines, yeah.
you're gonna be stuck. So thank you so
Yep.
much for looking at that and being proactive before we have a tragedy. up here.
Yep. You're
Thank
welcome.
you.
Any else from the board have a question or comment? For myself, Jared Souther, for the record, I saw in the last month they were talking about moving forward with the new main station or station in Warren downtown.
Oh, I should have mentioned that, yeah.
If you'd like to share a little bit more about that, that'd be great.
Yeah, it's still moving forward through the planning phase. But it's moving forward, progressing. They just, the last approval was to fund what is the name? The contractor by design.
Yeah.
What is it?
Yeah,
Whatever, with the next step's got approved and funded, to hire the contractor that does the
Yeah,
designing of it,
yeah.
whatever it's.
Design build. kind of
Design,
thing.
yeah,
Yeah.
whatever that terminology is, but yeah, it's moving forward, it's on track to start when it's, it's still a couple, 2, 3, 4 years out, but
Moving forward.
moving forward, correct,
Awesome, great.
yes.
All right, very good. Anyone from the public would like to make a comment or a question of our town chief?
Actually, I don't know if it's out of line, but,
No,
I read that y'all lost, one of your men's spouse. I don't know if she's Reno Fire, but Jake Marsh, I guess they live out.
that's not one of our,
Chilkoot, is that, I'm not sure if he comes under Reno at all.
no, I don't know that name, I don't know, have not heard.
And I didn't know if he was part of like Truckee Meadows or you, but yeah, I guess they have like a GoFundMe here.
Oh, I haven't heard or seen anything about that,
They have
no,
like a baby.
that's not good, no, I've not one of ours, and I haven't heard or
Okay,
seen about
good
it.
to know, but. that was-
You're welcome to forward it to me, I can try to get out to my department if you're looking for support.
Yeah, well, I just saw it on Northern Nevada wildfire updates. It's a good little page to have if anybody wants to know what's going on with the fires, but, yeah, I'll give you that.
Thank you, Becky, appreciate it. Thank you so much. Look
Yeah.
forward to your next visit.
Yeah,
And,
thank you for
stay
having
safe
me.
out there. Appreciate y'all.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
Thanks.
Good to see you.
All right, moving forward to business B2, we had an opportunity to have a presentation from Northeast Reno African American Historic Context, National Register nomination. And so presentation at this time. Please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Melissa Hapey. I'm a management assistant with the Arts and Culture Department with the city of Reno. And I'm going to talk to you about this project that we have going on, which is going to be located in wards 3 and 4 and conducted over the remainder of this calendar year. The project is a historic context of African American history focused in Northeast Reno with the goal of producing one or more National Register nominations. Reno City Council accepted a grant to fund this project at the February 28th meeting of the City Council. The project is funded by an underrepresented communities grant from the Historic Preservation Fund, which is administered by the National Park Service. The underrepresented communities grant is a nationally competitive grant, and this project was one of 21 projects funded this year. The underrepresented communities grant works to diversify the nominations submitted to the National Register of Historic Places by providing funding for surveys and inventories of historic properties that are associated with communities that are underrepresented in the National Register. Projects funded with this grant must result in a new or amended National Register nomination that is associated with an underrepresented community. And in relation to the National Register, an underrepresented community could mean lots of different communities. According to the National Park Service, less than 10% of places currently listed on the National Register reflect the diversity of the nation's population. This means there's an underrepresentation of people from a range of different social and ethnic backgrounds and of different genders and sexual orientations. The purpose of this project is to hire a consultant to create a historic context, so basically a study of the history of the African American community in Northeast Reno. And then to survey properties that are associated with this history and to nominate one of those properties to the National Register. The period of significance will be roughly 1900 to 1979. So when we're talking about history, it's 1900 to 1979 and will be concentrated in the Northeast Reno area, bounded by Lake Street and Evans Avenue on the west, McCarran Boulevard on the north, I-580 on the east, and the Truckee River to the south. This map is not a map of the project area. It's a map of an urban renewal area that the city of Reno identified in the late 1950s and early 1960s. It's within the project area, and it's one of the historic narratives that I think will be further researched in the project, during the project. The consultant will engage with the community to identify significant properties that are eligible to be listed in the National Register to prepare a National Register nomination associated with Reno's African American history and heritage. The consultant will seek public participation throughout the project, including during the research and identification phases. All of the final products of this project will be available to the public through the City of Reno Historic Preservation web pages, which is at renoculture.com. The project overall will support the formal documentation of new aspects of Reno's history and will benefit the preservation efforts of multiple stakeholders, including city planners, developers, historic groups, and the public at large. And Northeast Reno was selected because historically it was a more racially diverse area of the city than other areas of town. A little more about the National Register of Historic Places. The National Register was created by the National Historic Preservation Act of 1966. It is the nation's official list of places that are worthy of preservation. And as of the end of 2023, there are more than 98,000 properties across the nation listed on the National Register, which represent over 1.8 million individual resources. Listing on the National Register does not restrict property owners from making any changes to their property. It's strictly an honorary designation that helps recognize places that are significant to history. National designation is also the first step toward eligibility for National Park Service administered federal preservation tax credits and grants. Pictured here is the nationally designated historic property in Reno that is associated, the one nationally designated historic property that's associated with African American civil rights history. It is the Bethel AME Church on Bell Street. You can find more information about this project at renoculture.com. And follow updates by subscribing to the Arts and Culture newsletter on Reno Connect. You can learn more about African American history in Reno and other underrepresented community history at Our Story Inc. or at the Reno Historical app, which are two great resources if you don't already subscribe to them.
Thank you very much. I'd like to give an opportunity for members of the board to ask questions. Anyone have a comment or question to share?
None at this time for me, Ben Jones for the record.
For myself, Jared Souther, for the record, just to follow through on the example that you shared about the AME, Bethel AME Church. They've been designated, they received some funding to help support maintaining of it, or is that discretionary, or?
There's no funding associated with just being listed on the National Register, but income producing properties, so commercial properties, are eligible for tax credits through the IRS if they are doing a rehabilitation project. So it could be one piece of funding, a big project to rehabilitate a historic building. An example in Reno is the Riverside Hotel in the early 2000s used historic tax credit to rehabilitate that property and turn it into affordable housing. There's also grants that historic nationally designated properties can be eligible for, but there are, guidelines that are associated with that type of grant as well.
Any other further questions from the board? And then, yes, please.
Councilman Avery, for the record, did you say that that church was the only?
It's the only property that was designated as on the national or local register that is directly associated with African American history. There are a couple of other buildings that are on the national register that are associated with an African American architect, but he was not from our community. He lived in Los Angeles and designed a few buildings that are recognized.
So the only one in the state or the only one
In our city,
in
in
the
Reno.
city? Okay, got it. Thank you.
And then outside of that specific group, is there other buildings that are also on the National Register?
There's about 75 properties on the national register in the city limits.
Thank you. All right, and then turn some time over, any comment from the public in this item? Seeing none, I'd like to go ahead and move forward. Thank you so much for that presentation. Sharing, it's important for our
Yeah.
culture. Thank you so much. At this point in time, we're going to move to agenda item C, development projects. And we have the pleasure today for item number 1 for the item that is 9590 North Virginia Street, zoning map amendment. Abigail, do you want to lead this off with any discussion or?
So we have Picati, Picati online, and she will be doing the presentation.
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
All right. For the record, my name is Leah Picati, and I am an associate planner with the City of Reno Development Services. This is a little bit unusual because normally planners do attend these meetings, but we're really here to just answer questions. We don't generally present applications. However, John Kropotkin is the applicant's representative on this, and he had a last-minute issue and could not attend tonight. Since I happen to be the person attending, I told him I would be happy to present the same presentation that I presented to the Planning Commission last night. So can everybody see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, so this is a 2-acre site up on North Virginia, just about 200 feet from the intersection of Virginia Street and Doubleback. I think the most important thing to understand with this application is that this is that area of town where the master plan designation of industrial does not match the zoning district. And to make a very long story short, the reason that this happened is that when the master plan was completed in 2017, this whole area got an industrial overlay. When we updated the zoning code in 2020, the zoning that was previously in this area translated to mixed use suburban, which doesn't conform to the industrial land use designation for the master plan. So to deal with that, eventually staff is gonna come forward with a larger application to rezone all of these properties. But in the meantime, we have made it free for property owners to apply for a zoning map amendment to bring their property into conformance with the master plan. So that's what this is. This is one of those applications where they're just trying to bring it into conformance with the master plan. As you can see on this map here, this particular site is surrounded by existing warehouses, both across the street on Virginia and directly behind it. Can you move to the next slide? So here you can see the existing zoning. Pretty much everything around this already has a zoning of industrial commercial. So in this case, all the applicant is asking is to change that zoning from mixed use suburban to industrial commercial. Staff doesn't have any concerns with this request because it just brings it into conformance with the master plan. There's no residential adjacency, which we've dealt with on some of the previous applications. That doesn't really apply to this application. Can you go to the next slide? So here you can see that area. This is the master plan map. And you can see that the whole area has a master plan land use designation of industrial. The key issues that we look at in these kinds of requests are conformance with the master plan. You can see there the conforming base zoning districts, and you'll notice that mixed use suburban is not one of them, but industrial commercial is. Just to give you a little bit of an idea, actually, I think you can go to the next slide. I think I've got it on the next slide. Yeah. So to give you an idea about the summary of uses here, the MS zoning district allows for residential, whereas the IC does not. And the IC in zoning district will allow for some less intense industrial uses like indoor salvage or a tow yard, but it still wouldn't permit like a wrecking yard or things like that. And that IC is what we see in all the surrounding. You can see here that we have the development standards. You can see the development standards in the MS versus the IC, but some things are changing, but overall it's compatible with the land use that we see all around it. Next slide, please. Here's the zoning map amendment recommended findings. Staff has been able to make these findings. We found that it does conform with state law and it definitely conforms with our master plan. And that's pretty much it for my presentation. I am available to answer questions if anybody has any.
Thank you. Leah, thank you so much. This is Jared Souther for the record. And I just, you mentioned that you presented to the planning commission last night. Unfortunately, I haven't had a chance to watch that yet. Tell me, any feedback there, or did it get approved from the planning commission?
Yeah, it was, it did get a unanimous recommendation of approval to the city council, and it will be going to the city council for an introduction on April 10th and adoption on April 24th.
Any questions from the board at this time regarding this presentation?
Kathleen Megan, just wanted to comment that streamline this process. You know, it's convoluted until we have to fix these overlays. It's just so onerous for business owners to have to go through this process and your staff time, the planning commissions, everyone's staff time. It just would be ideal if there was a way to streamline when we all know it's common sense to get these zoning things in order. So anyways, thank you for your work, and I just wish there was a way to streamline it.
Just so you know, the plan is to do this all in one lump, but we just don't have the staff time quite yet. So hopefully in the future, we're going to hire somebody who can take this on as a major project and get it all done for everybody. It is in the plan.
Thank you.
Anyone else from the board? Yes, please.
Councilwoman Ebert, for the record. So Aaliyah, you just said that there's a plan to do this. Does that mean that any parcels that need to be changed to match the planning or the master plan, it's gonna shift over? Or are we gonna wait for people to come before our planning commission to make the change?
No, we'll do it all as one overlay.
Okay.
I'm not exactly sure on the particulars of that. I'm not sure if property owners need to opt in or if it's just something that we do, we send out notification. I know we just did something similar, but Grace McLeodon was handling that. So I'm not 100% sure how that process went.
Okay, yeah, that'd be great if we could do it instead of waiting till people come in.
Definitely.
Yeah, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any public comment regarding this agenda item? Seeing none, thank you so much for this presentation. Thank you so much. At this time, I'd like to move on to item D. Board commission or committee member reports and announcements. Anyone from the board have any announcements or reports? Item E, future agenda items. Anyone would like to suggest a future agenda item?
I do want to let you guys know, an update for April. Grace McLeodone will be here with the updates for the title code or the title 4 and 5 code cleanup. So that will be coming in April.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Yes.
Awesome.
Kathleen Egan, not for future agenda items, but just for council report. More information as you get it for the water treatment plant that was approved and supposed to help with the effluent
Yeah.
and all that. As we go along, if you,
What kind of details would you like? Cause we had a vote at the council meeting and I was just, backup for a Tumwa meeting yesterday
yeah, so like
too.
the timeline.
Okay,
You know, just, this is gonna be a future, but the timeline and any construction or things like, in a
Okay,
way, that's just something, if you could like,
Yeah.
feed us little things as they come along. I know it's been approved, but I don't know how that's gonna affect our area.
would you like me to see if I can get Tumwa out here to do like a little presentation?
I don't know if it's that, you know, maybe too soon, you know, now, but maybe once we get into it, people might be
I
interested.
don't know, I think it might be a good time to do it, cause they just
whatever.
did some votes on it. Just like a little, like where we're at, 'cause
Well, on that, John White for a note, I remember 30 years ago, as a NAB, we were involved in allotting the different water we had so much coming out of the plant, where do we want to put it? And we as a board, there were percent here, percent there, and we put a lot of percent to Sierra Sage, and want to keep it running.
Yeah.
There's nothing mentioned then about being an extreme charge, and I mean, expense to Sierra Sage for it, because it was just, they're trying to get rid of it.
yeah.
Not that they're gonna charge
Going
for
it,
getting
yeah.
rid of it, it's like, when did
Yeah.
that happen?
Yeah, well, I think, Abby, can we get them to come out then
I
and give
can
a
ask them to
presentation? I
do
think
a
that would be good. And that also reminds me, something that we talked about yesterday at the meeting was, they're gonna build like an education center at Tumwa, at that new facility, to kind of talk about the process and everything, cause it's kind of a new thing. And, they're also going to look into having a meeting space in there so that, you know, we could potentially have our NABs in there. I know it's a little further out than here, but, you know, if we're not able to use the library for some reason, it might be a space that we can use for NABs or other community meetings. So that's something that's also being, potentially planned into that project. So thanks for bringing that up, Kathleen.
Great, wonderful. Jared Sabbath for the record, yesterday was our planning commission meeting, and I saw that I felt like out of the agenda items, we had at least 3 items that were work for geared, and I would just say encourage everyone to take a look at that, see what was said, and to move. Each of us have that opportunity to attend, but sometimes it's afterwards we get to understand what, after we've talked about it in our neighborhood advisory board that goes to planning commission or city council. What were the results, and did we have time to make comments about it? Yes. Sorry, Becky, I will let you speak.
Flannery, yes, I was actually pretty involved in that and got pretty heated because they want to build like 400 homes plus warehouses plus shopping up on White Lake.
Yeah, that is true. I think we'll have opportunity to hear about that more, but thank you. So that being said, one other item of agenda for the NAB that I saw permitting, and it's going through a process, and maybe Abigail, you could explain. Are we going to hear about a request for more buildings to be built around the J.C. Penney facility on Stead Boulevard? I saw it going, but I just couldn't remember if it was going straight to planning commission because the zoning was already there.
So I don't know off the top of my head. I would have to look.
Yeah, I
into it.
apologize.
Yeah.
It was there, and then we talk about that $10 million windfall. I go to myself, there's much to be done for improving infrastructure in the area, and We are very mindful of the fact that NDOT and RTC are working on a lot of things. I'm excited to hear, as they continue to work on the intelligence or ITS system to help us with moving traffic in a smarter way. I'm very keen to see those projects move forward faster than slower.
Yeah.
So I just wanted to voice that opportunity. But, okay, anyone else from the board with that agenda item? No? Okay. Please.
I also am going to be appointing a new NAB member, if she still wants to join, so that's gonna be coming on an agenda here pretty quick, so if anybody else is watching, I don't know who's on the meeting or in the audience, if you would like to join the NAB, we still have some spots available, so. Yeah, Corey, you gotta wait a little bit still.
Oh, all right, you should be able to speak now. Is she muted? She has-
You're still muted, Mary. Mary, if you have comments, feel free to, we'll reach out, because like Abby said, she's our minute taker. We'll reach out and we'll make sure a copy of them are distributed to the board at the next meeting. Let's see, no other
Other public
public
comment.
comment on Zoom or in the room, Mr. Chair. I think we can move on.
Yes, so item G, at this time, we have an opportunity to have a motion for adjournment. Who would like to,
John White moves that we adjourn.
thank you.
Ben
Second?
Johnson, second.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you so much, everyone. We just have the record.
Yeah, fastest meeting ever.